Hi guys. Welcome to Turkish series stars. All the details are in our video, and you know the drill. Subscribe and share so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for being here, because tonight we're diving into a sighting that has set social media ablaze and reignited a romance rumor everyone thought had cooled down. Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda, whose chemistry first turned heads when they shared the screen and later lingered in headlines for months, were seen side by side at a major concert in Istanbul. After a long stretch of avoiding joint appearances, they showed up in the same place, on the same night, staying close enough to whisper through the music, and fans were quick to notice. Witnesses say they tried to slip under the radar, carefully avoiding any spotlight and blending into the crowd with quiet ease. But you know how it is, the lights on stage may be bright, yet the glow of two people who can't help gravitating toward each other is brighter still. Even though they've refused to feed the rumor mill for ages, choosing silence over denial, those smiles and the way they angled toward one another told its own story. The question started bouncing around before the encore even hit: are Gökberk and Cemre back together? Insiders whisper that the two have been seeing each other away from the cameras for a while, choosing to protect what they have rather than perform it. According to the whispers, they've learned their lesson from past headlines: be present for each other in private, and let the public moments be rare and intentional. And it showed. They didn't arrive together. Gökberk entered through a side gate minutes before the show, head down, cap low. Cemre appeared later, gliding in through a different entrance, her steps measured, her attention forward. When the final chorus faded and the lights softened, they waited until the crowd started to thin out. Then, as if drawn by some quiet signal, they drifted toward the back corridors and slipped out together. No front door fanfare, no red carpet flash, just a side exit, a careful glance, and a shared path into the night. Of course, not everything stays hidden. A handful of fans caught the moment on their phones, and those short clips did what they always do: they raced through timelines, sparked 1,000 comments, and turned into headlines by morning. Under the videos, the fandom split into two familiar camps. One side cheered, writing, "I'm so relieved they found their way back, and it's obvious, look at how they smile when they think no one's watching." The other side shrugged, saying, "They don't have to hide, we'll support them either way," while calmer voices added, "It can't be coincidence, not after all this time." In a matter of hours, the soft hum of curiosity built into the kind of buzz that keeps people refreshing their feeds late into the night. This is not the first time the two have been caught in a moment away from set lights and press lines. Remember the summer whispers from Bodrum, followed by that blink and you miss it trip abroad? Back then, both shut the conversation down the same way, saying they'd rather have their work judged publicly and their hearts handled privately. Their line was clear: we don't talk about our personal lives. It was a boundary, and it made their fans both respect them and yearn for a glimpse behind the curtain. But with this latest concert appearance, a familiar story has returned with new intensity. The friendship that began when they were cast together, those on-set exchanges that felt unforced, that calm trust you can see even between takes, seems to have deepened into something that refuses to fade. A close friend confided to a tabloid, words that spread like wildfire: Gökberk and Cemre can't stay apart. They tried to keep their distance, but there's a pull between them. They're under massive pressure, so now they choose to meet quietly, on their own terms. And that's what makes this night matter. They had been almost invisible for months, only to appear suddenly, perfectly, in the same place, leaning close and swapping gentle laughter. It felt too aligned to be accidental. Sources insist the relationship never truly ended. What stopped was the willingness to stand beneath the glare of constant scrutiny. They needed room to breathe, to decide what belonged to the world and what belonged only to them. Away from the flashing bulbs, their connection didn't diminish. It settled, strengthened, then surfaced again when they were ready. Behind the curtain, this moment was weeks in the making. That's what people close to them say. Between tight filming calendars, promotional obligations, and the non-stop rhythm of the industry, they carved out this night as if it were sacred. Music is their shared language, the thing that first bonded them when long days on set left them drained. So they chose a concert, somewhere they could stand in a crowd and be just two people carried by a melody. They played it smart. Separate cars. Staggered arrivals. Clean, understated clothes. No statement pieces, no signature looks screaming for attention, just smart, quiet choices. Privacy mattered more than anything. If you were close enough to see them once the lights went down, you would have witnessed a soft choreography unfold. Glances meeting across the dim. Bodies turning to face the same direction, shoulders aligning, their rhythm syncing with the drums. Every now and then, a verse would pull a smile out of Cemre, and Gökberk would tilt his head, as if memorizing the moment. The ballads hit differently, witnesses said. He sang under his breath, she did too. When a particularly tender song rolled out, their energy shifted into something even gentler, like the music had quieted the rest of the room just for them. A few people nearby realized what they were seeing and raised their phones, capturing fragments that later stitched themselves into a trending story. And yes, the styling got people talking as well. Cemre's look was the kind of simplicity that makes everyone stare, a black blazer thrown over a pale tee, denim tailored to sit just right, hair tucked behind one ear, knowing that a small detail can be more dramatic than a dress drenched in sequins. Gökberk kept it unfussy, a loose shirt, a broken-in leather jacket, the effortless kind of handsome that doesn't need announcing. Their outfits matched the mood, refined, careful, unshowy, sending the message that they weren't there to pose for the cameras, they were there to feel something. Before the last notes faded, they began their exit strategy. No rush, no panic, just intention. They scanned the space, checked the angles, and signaled to a couple of trusted faces. A door cracked open near the side of the stage, the sort of exit that is more hallway than ceremony. And yet, even with every precaution, a few fans managed to frame the moment just right. The way he leaned to speak directly into her ear so he wouldn't have to raise his voice. The way she turned half toward him while still listening to the stage, as if she could keep both worlds in balance for a little longer. Those details were enough to push the story over the edge, and by sunrise, the headlines did the rest. Have Gökberk and Cemre reconciled? People close to Cemre say the glare is the part that drains her. She wants the narrative to be about her craft, about scripts and performances and the hours she pours into each role. She has said to friends, quietly and firmly, I need people to talk about what I do, not who I love. That doesn't mean her feelings dim down, it means she's refused to let public appetite dictate private reality. If anything, those who know them insist that keeping their world small has only deepened the connection. Choosing each other in silence, day after day, can be more powerful than 1,000 staged photos. What happened after the concert is where the story picks up hidden textures. Instead of rushing to the cars, they took a minute, just one, to let the crowd thin out. Backstage, a couple of close friends waited, people who know how to guard a secret without making it feel like a burden. There was a quiet exchange, a check-in. A quick laugh, the kind that sounds like relief. Then the move, a purposeful walk toward the vehicles idling in the shadows. Eyewitnesses swear they were still smiling, still leaning close, still speaking the language of two people who know where they stand, even if they're not ready to let everyone else stand there with them. This wasn't spontaneous, it was a plan executed with care. They coordinated the details beforehand, from which doors to use to when to send that simple text that says, I'm here. They did prep separately, arrived separately, and brought the night together with deliberate timing. If it had been accidental, there wouldn't have been such careful choreography. The little signs add up, this is a reunion sustained over time, not a chance collision. Another layer in all this is the circle around them. Friends who could have cashed in with a careless comment chose to close ranks instead. They respect what Gökberk and Cemre are trying to build. They understand that some relationships can't lift off if they're loaded down with everyone else's opinions. They know that not posting does not mean not feeling. In fact, the quiet has become a language of its own. Fewer selfies, fewer public notes, fewer digital breadcrumbs. It reads like a decision to give themselves an uncluttered space where the only audience that matters is each other. Of course, the hush has the opposite effect on the outside world. It makes the curiosity soar. Every clipped moment, every blurred still, every offhand tip grows bigger in the telling. The photos pulse across timelines and gather comments like confetti. To some, it's the beginning of a new chapter, the moment when a long friendship finally admits what it has always been. To others, it's a careful dance, two people testing the floor before they leap. Either way, the energy is electric, and it refuses to fade. As the day rolled on, the narrative kept evolving. People dug up older clips, paused them at telling frames, compared gestures, weighed patterns. Fans wrote that the tenderness between them has a different weight now, as if they were no longer trying to outrun what's obvious. Others admired the restraint. If they're protecting something fragile, let them. The comments became their own chorus, a mix of hope, patience, and the stubborn thrill of watching a love story that belongs to the present, not the past. What does all this mean? That the story isn't over, and maybe it never was. Maybe the pause was a choice. Maybe the quiet was a way to keep the flame steady instead of letting it burn too fast. Maybe that concert was more than a night out, it was a promise to themselves to keep choosing the moments that feel true. What we saw is just a fragment. The real narrative is written in texts sent at odd hours, in schedules adjusted at the last minute, in the way two people agree on a song and let it hold them for 4 minutes of anonymity in a sea of strangers. Still, those 4 minutes told us a lot. The glances, the smiles, the close lean, the exit crafted like a secret. They are not ready to spell things out in a statement, and maybe they never will. But actions, as everyone likes to say, carry their own script. And this one reads like a reunion that found its footing away from the eye of the storm. We'll keep watching, carefully and respectfully. If there's more to see, it will appear when they decide it should. Until then, the images we have are enough to remind us why this duo captivated people in the first place. Talent, yes. Timing, yes. But mostly, a connection that refuses to dim. For now, that backstage smile is the final frame, and it says more than any caption could. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and share so we can keep bringing you the stories you care about. This is Turkish Series Stars, signing off, until the next chapter writes itself.